want to show it to you because we want to speak about as we speak about some of the propaganda. I just wanted to demonstrate. Okay, so I can go on. All right. Anyway, so first of all, thank you so much for turning up for this presser. We thought we will give you an update of the Punguza Mizigo referendum campaign, but at the same time, we have also today decided that we are going to speak about some of the propaganda that has been told about this bill, the bribery that has taken so far to try and stop this bill, some of the lies and the distortions about Punguza Mizigo bill. Now, Punguza Mizigo bill, I just want to start from the outset and say that it actually has a perpetual life. First, it is a litmus test for the leadership of this country, both at the national and the county level. If the leadership truly want the best for the electorate, for the people that put them into office, they have no choice but to support the Punguza Mizigo bill. It is because of this reason, amongst others, that we have today elected, deliberately chosen, to speak on some of the propaganda, lies, bribery, and distortions about this important bill. We shall also respond to the specific propagandists, including the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto himself. Now, I want to specifically respond to the Deputy President of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. We have seen videos of you in both mainstream and social media showing the person and the character you truly are. First, as the Deputy President, you purported to compare Punguza Mizigo with some unconstitutional, directionless, amorphous political entity that claims to be seeking to establish what ails this country. The Deputy President should be honest enough to say that what ails our country is the kind of bad political leaders that he has exhibited. A leadership that lacks integrity and one that publicly lies about a good project like Punguza Mizigo. We are aware that the Standard newspaper published a sponsored false and an alarmist headline on Friday, 27, 2019, that Punguza Mizigo bill had hit a dead end. And you can all see for yourself that lie. As I said earlier, it's only 7 counties that made a decision. And those 7 counties cannot be equated to 24, cannot be equated to 47, even if you fail mathematics in school. We are therefore disappointed that rather than check the facts, as somebody occupying a very high office as Deputy President, you became so gullible, simplistic, and cheap enough to believe a lie from a compromised journalist or a compromised headline. We now believe that the Deputy President, William Ruto, actually sponsored that headline. Again, we are not surprised because he is known for certain underhand dealings. The rare coincidence of the Deputy President and the Standard newspaper's Friday editorial headline propagating a similar narrative is a choreographed lie that is meant to shape a negative public opinion on the Promonanchi bill. To this extent, Deputy President Ruto, in our view, in my own humble opinion, failed the integrity test yet again. Leaders should not be gullible to spread lies. The Punguza Mizigo bill has given the enemies of Wanjiku an opportunity to unite as their personality politics of greed and aggrandizement is coming to an end. Because that's what we intend to end with this Punguza Mizigo bill. And some of them, with questionable character, the moment they see in this bill that we are strengthening integrity and to stop thieves of public money, they gang up together. That's why I'm not surprised. From Kirinyaga to Sugoi, they are all now attacking Punguza Mizigo bill. It is unfortunate that leaders like the DP, who roam around the country aimlessly, preaching the lies he calls development, are clueless of the plight of ordinary Mwananchi. The self-delusion that the poppycock of being Father Christmas will solve the monumental problems afflicting our people daily demonstrate how weak some of these leaders are. They are faithless, to say the least. Punguza Mizigo aims to bring to an end your Father Christmas tendencies of carrying monies in sacks to churches and arambes in order to exploit the vulnerable majority. Arambes in churches are not sustainable, especially since the sources of this money is not even known. To Wanjiku, that status politicians purport to represent and speak on behalf of, is being muscled by the leaders to maintain the status quo. How ironical, remember the last referendum, which brought the current constitution, was opposed by the same leaders that are comfortable with the oppressive old constitution. In fact, if some of these leaders had any integrity, having opposed this constitution, they should not have even vied for any public office using this very, very constitution. They should not have even lifted this very constitution to say, I so-and-so defend and propagate, protect this constitution. It's hypocritical. It is just defeatist. This, in our view, is very diabolical, so as to maintain the status quo and continue plundering the national resources. We remind the Deputy President to focus on the real problems Kenyans are facing right now that include collapsing businesses and a high rate of unemployment among Kenyans. Premature campaigns for 2022 won't solve the suffering of Kenyans. In any case, and in case the Deputy President has forgotten, Kenyans are still waiting for the following false promises. The Jubilee laptop per child promised in 2013, we are yet to see it. The 9 modern stadia that they promised in Kasarani, we are yet to see them. The Kimorer and Aror dams that is meant to improve the lives of his own people are yet to be seen. In fact, they have been cancelled. Prosecution and the jailing of the thieves of NYS1 and NYS2 is a promise we are still waiting as Kenyans. Exploitation of the tea farmers by KTDA is something that this Jubilee government should be focusing on, not premature politics of 2022. Insolvency of the Mumias Sugar Company. The Jubilee's government Big Four agenda of manufacturing, affordable healthcare, affordable housing, and food security. These are still pipe dreams Kenyans are waiting for. Revival of the failed Galana Kulalu project is a promise we are still waiting for. Reliable clean water supply to all Kenyans, we are still waiting. Lower energy tariffs, we are still waiting. Revival of the collapsing Mombasa economy today and the killing of small transporters is something we are still struggling with. Millions of new jobs for the youth, among many other failed Jubilee projects, is something we are still waiting. So we are saying to William Ruto, instead of lying out there about Punguza Mizigo, a project that really intends to improve the lives of Kenyans by taking money to their very wards, you are fighting it. You are the #1 enemy of the people of Kenya. And stop lying to Kenyans that by 2022, if you become their president, their lives will change. They will not change because the lies since 2013 are still there. By lying to our old nation that the Punguza Mizigo bill has failed before 40 counties have debated and voted on the bill, the Deputy President has shown his contempt for the ordinary Mwananchi that he has failed and lied to in the last 6 years. We wish to remind him that the Punguza Mizigo bill has a perpetual life as it aspires to ensure that the ordinary Kenyan will have access to basic public services at their very villages. Any person who is working against Punguza Mizigo is an enemy of Wanjiku and will remain so for as long as he or she cannot uplift the lives of millions of the downtrodden. Lastly, as I finish this presser, we wish to speak very briefly on the Likoni Ferry incident, and of course among other tragedies, including the recently collapsed school. Now for us, the Likoni Ferry incident is such a tragedy that the country is still trying to come to terms with. We all know that the Kenya Ferry Services has on several occasions in the past been indicted for failure to maintain safety standards, and this time round it is not an exception, given that the tragedy could have been prevented had there been proper safeguards on the equipment. We urge the government to expedite the recovery of the deceased bodies and full overhaul of the management of Kenya Ferry Services. In proper democracies, the minister in charge should have by now resigned. And maybe this is time for Macharia to actually step aside, because there is no difference between those who are charged of corruption and being asked to step aside with him whose department is actually failing. We saw this mother and daughter die just when we've been propagating about the Kenya Coast Guard institution. And for us and to the family that lost their loved ones, we offer our deepest condolences, and may their souls rest in eternal peace. That's the end of the formal statement. I will now take a couple of questions, if there are any. Yes, and actually, and then I can come to you, and then to you. Yes? Yes.
When we spoke about the seven counties, the 3 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
if you can give us the names, and 2, if you can give us the update about the debate in the counties, how far it has gone, how many counties, how many have part of the bill, so that at least we can have
Yeah.
the figures.
So far, only one county has debated this bill as per the constitution, and that is Uasin Gishu County.